Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Sarvalokanam Bhishaje Bhavarogina, Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Hari Nahi Gnanena Sadrusham Pavitram Iha Vidyate Tat Swayam Yoga Samsiddha Kalenatmani Vindati. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagnau Brahmanautam Brahmena Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. Hari. You can have two types of approaches to life. One is a conditioned approach. A conditioned approach is that which is attained by the information fed into you. You never questioned that. You have been told some things and you accepted it. You know, this world is real. God is external to me. I am weak, God is strong. I am inferior. I am a Hindu. I am male, I am female. This is my team. This is my country. Did you ever inquire about these questions? You just took it. They were given to you and you took it. And then not only you have taken it, you have holding and you're wearing it as if it's your armor. And anybody says anything that questions that, you feel uncomfortable. And then there is a second approach, it's an intelligent approach. An approach of inquiry. You say, how come? Is this all it is? Is there any other possibility? A mature intellect gives rise to an approach of inquiry, vichara. And in that mature intellect, very important questions arise. Questions such as, who am I? What is God? What is creation? What is the purpose of life? Where am I moving in life? Why am I just following everybody around me? Why am I not questioning? Why am I so comfortable with the tradition, with the routine? Why am I so scared to take the untrodden path? What is it that I'm afraid of losing? Or what am I going to gain after doing all this in this life? These questions arise in a mature intellect. And this line of questioning is called vichara. And the Upanishads encourage us to do this. If you look at most of the scriptures, they begin with a question. A question from a mature mind triggers wisdom from a seer. Whether it is Bhagavad Gita, whether it is Yoga Vasishta, whether it's Ashtavakra, or look at all the Upanishads, they all start with a question. And if you are observant, you will notice that the seer is so happy with the question, he gives the answer immediately. Most of the Upanishads, first 3-4 shlokas is good enough. You don't have to read any further. But then unfortunately, the seers are so compassionate, they also see that not everybody is going to catch what we are telling here. Absolute truth is beyond the grasp of the mind and the senses. It is beyond intellect, and thereby it is beyond language. How can you express something which is beyond language through language? How can you explain something beyond intellect through words? This is a very difficult proposition. But unfortunately, more than 95% of the world are logical. They want something which fits into a logical scheme of things. Only then they are going to stay interested. So they had to make some adjustments so that you don't run away, so that you can be held here. It was told that when Maharshi Mahesh Yogi first time went abroad to teach meditation, people in Rishikesh, they asked, why there is so much work to be done in this country only? Why are you going there? He said, no, I have to go. And when he came back from his first tour, his disciples or his colleagues in the region, they were a bit surprised. Not some of them were even shocked. They said, what is it that you are teaching? You are going and teaching them meditation, telling them this will improve your memory, your concentration, it will help you sleep better. It will reduce your blood pressure. This is not our path. We are here to realize the non-dual self. We are Advaita Vedantins. But what is it that you are talking? So, apparently, Maharshi Ji told, if I give them what they want, I have a hope that they may come to me to receive what I want to give. So just to keep people in the fold so they don't get scattered away, the seers had to find techniques to tell something that you can also agree. Dilute the knowledge to a little bit so that a conversation can happen. So they used many methodologies. One of the methodologies used in the Upanishads to explain something which cannot be explained is called the Neti technique. Means telling, if you ask what is this, they start telling what this is not. What is self? If you remember Tattva Bodha, when he says what is self, he keeps on telling about what is not self. Oh, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the Panchakoshas, you are not the gross, subtle or causal bodies, you are not the elements. And then who am I? Well, take away all that, what remains? That is what you are. Another methodology used is examples, giving some sort of metaphors or similes, upamas, to help you understand. Like they say, rope and a snake, water and a mirage, dream, clay and the pot. Then he said, look, dream is unreal, but it appears as real. Snake is not there, but appears as if it is there in a rope. Water is not there, but appears as if in a mirage. Similarly, this world is not there, but appears as if it is in your consciousness. That is one more way of looking into it. Another way is giving some sort of a logical structure, making a theory or a concept of it. And to make that, you have to create some artificial boundaries or categories where there is none. And this is how science works. The approach between science and spirituality is, science is very logical. And it says, what it does, you give something, it breaks it down, and it goes into smallest thing. Science analyzes, divides. Spirituality synthesizes, integrates. It brings everything together. Science says this is water vapor, this is ice, this is wave, this is ocean, this is salt water, this is sweet water, this is pond, this is ripple. Spiritual, it says, anyway, everything is just water. You may see it in different way. At different times, it may appear as different, depending upon the characteristics of the external factors, but at the end of it, just water. The approach of science is also important because that brings utility to life. But you need to have this clear understanding that its use is limited to a practical utility. That's all. Not for higher understanding. Established in the ultimate truth, you can use logic to navigate through the material aspect of existence. But when you integrate yourself with the material aspect of existence and drop off the spirit totally or completely become unaware of it, then life becomes very limited. And when they are trying to explain this in terms of theories, then they have to create terminologies. They have to say there is Brahman, there is Purusha, there is Prakriti, there is Ksetra, Ksetrajna, there is scenery, there is seer, there is Avyayam, there is Mahat, there is the gross body, subtle body, causal body, there is Panchakoshas. Now you understand, oh, this all is making sense to me. But then after explaining all this, what they say? Oh, disciple, remember these are just words. Don't fall for these words. These are only to give you an indication. These are just pointers. Use the pointers to have some sort of an understanding, but then you have to move beyond them. What is just pure consciousness. So here Arjuna is asking these questions. He tells Krishna, he asks Krishna, Krishna, what is Prakriti, what is Purusha? What is Ksetra and who is a Ksetrajna? What is knowledge? What is it that is worth knowing and who is the knower? So Krishna explains this. He says, what exists is just pure consciousness. Pure consciousness in its unmanifest state. In this pure consciousness, once in a while something manifests. The manifestation happens through a desire in this unmanifest consciousness. The aspect of the pure consciousness, which we call Brahman, is a term that's, you have to say, call it something, so I called it Brahman. So in this Brahman, the aspect of Brahman in which a sankalpa or a desire arises to manifest itself, that is called as Purusha. And through the sankalpa, the Purusha is so full of sattva, so full of energy that the sankalpa automatically manifests. How does it manifest? It manifests as the elements. And the elements are in the subtle state. In the subtle state, they create what's called the subtle body. And when the same elements condense, they become the gross body. So this gross body and this subtle body, which includes the mind, memory, intellect, ego, prana and dhruti, will and prana, and within the mind where there is craving and aversion, experience of sukha and dukkha, all this is called as Ksetra or scenery. So entire material existence along with the experiences is Ksetra, is the field. And the one who knows the field, the knower of the field is Ksetrajna, is the seer. All material is scenery, and that which witnesses the scenery is the seer. And Arjuna, this entire existence is scenery, and I am the seer who pervades through the entire existence. And then he says, within this perishable body, there is an imperishable self. That is what I call as Purusha. Now, there's a little difference in the classical Upanishadic explanation and this. This, what Krishna says, is borrowed from Sankhya. In Sankhya, the individual soul is called as Purusha. And it says as many individuals are there, that many Purushas are there. But in the classical Upanishadic teaching, there is only one Purusha. It is like there is one sun which is reflected in so many pots of water. That's the classical Upanishadic teaching. But here it says because the reflection of the sun is held within that pot, it is the individual reflection. And that depending upon the reflecting medium, it could be bright, it could be dull. These are the different attributes. So he says, the soul in the body, when it develops a desire to enjoy the world, then the gunas appear. And within the gunas, the experiences happen. The cause and the effect start happening. Now, at the individual level, what you call as the subtle body or the mind, memory, intellect and ego, the same when it expands to the universal level, that becomes what is called as Hiranyagarbha, or what you call commonly as Brahma, the creator. And that which as an individual is called the individual Purusha, that when it expands to universal level, the same thing is called as Ishvara, or what we commonly call as God. So, the common understanding, the God is the creator of this universe. And how did God create? Through Brahma. So, the Purusha, through the mind, creates the universe, the world which we see. So, the individual soul, the Jivatma, because of its desire to experience the world, through the mind, gives us an appearance of the world. And in its desire to experience the world, the gunas come up, and depending upon the type of guna, a type of action is triggered, and that type of experience comes, and this action and experience gives impression, the impression generates further actions, and this cycle continues, and various bodies are formed, various types of births and deaths happen. But know this seer is separate to this. All this is part of the scenery, and the seer is separate. So, scenery and seer are separate. Scenery is that which can be objectified. Scenery is that which cannot be objectified. Scenery is that which is dependent on the seer for its existence. Where there is no seer, there is no scenery at all. Do you notice? In sleep, the seer is not perceived, so the scenery is also not perceived. It's only when the seer is perceived, the scenery comes into existence. So this is Arjuna, is Ksetra and Ksetrajna. All matter is Ksetra, and the witnesser of this matter and the knower of this matter, one who knows that I am not matter, but I am the one who is witnessing it, he is the Ksetrajna. He is the seer, and I am that seer, and you are that as well. And then he moves on, and Arjuna asks, what is knowledge and what is that worth knowing? So Krishna says, only thing that is worth knowing is the Brahman. Because knowing that, you will not only be enveloped in an ocean of bliss, there is nothing else to be known. Knowing that, where you don't have to know anything else, that is Brahman. And I will talk to you about Brahman, but before that I will tell you what is knowledge. Knowledge is that which takes you to Brahman. Anything else is not knowledge. See, there are two types of people. One type of people, they are interested in spirituality, but they are interested in accumulation of information. One Upanishad, second Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, this shloka, that mantra, I want to learn that, this ritual, that ritual. But they don't make any effort to live that knowledge, to wear that knowledge. Oh, I have known this, I understood this. Understanding will not transform you. Living it will transform you. Unless that understanding passes through meditation, passes through samadhi, passes through state of emptiness, then it will not transform you. So here Arjuna, Krishna says, only that I consider as knowledge which takes you towards the Brahman. What are those? He gives various qualities there.
Amanitvamadambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham स्थैर्यमात्म विनिग्रहः. इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अनहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्युजरा व्याधि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम्. असक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गः पुत्रदारगृहादिषु नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम् इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु. मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम् अरतिर्जनसंसदि. अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वम् तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतज्ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यदतोऽन्यथा.
So he quotes various things and says, this is what is knowledge. What are the things he quotes? Amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshanti, arjavam, acharya upasanam, shaucham, stairyam, atma vinigraha. Amanitvam, not worrying too much about the opinions of people, not worrying about being how somebody is going to treat me, the status. Adambitvam means not being hypocritical, being very open to things, not saying something outside and feeling something else inside. Ahimsa, dropping aggression, non-aggression. Kshantihi, forgiveful. Arjavam, sincere. Acharyopasanam. So who is forgiveful, who is sincere in his practices, and who is engaged in respectful veneration towards the master. Shaucham, cleanliness. Stairyam, steadfast, not being wavered, not being distracted easily, not jumping paths from one place to another. Atma vinigraha, having a say over the senses, being focused. Indriyarteshu vairagyam, not being dragged away by the senses. Anahankara, ahankara is firm identification with the body and the mind. Anahankara is not strongly attached to the body and the mind. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha dosha anudarshanam, one who is aware of the quality of the finite aspect of existence, the perishable material existence. You know that anything that is material can go through janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, birth, death, old age, disease, dukkha, dosha, misery and imperfection. Asaktihi anabhishvangaha putra dara gruhadishu. Asakti, putra dara gruhadishu means possessions. Children, what are the main things which we are so much attached to? Children, spouses, house, or any personal possessions, money. So not having attachment or not craving for their attention or their company. Nityancha samachittatvam. See, when it's very clear in you that all that is matter is an appearance, and it's my own conditioning which is making me feel that these are really important. When that ignorance is taken away, then it becomes very easy to dissociate yourself from all that you're clinging on to in life. Nityancha samachittatvam ishta anishta upapattishu. When something which is favorable to you happens, or something which is not favorable, ishta anishta, happens, in spite of that, having an equanimous attitude. Mayicha ananya yogena bhaktihi avyabhicharini. Without a distracted or a restless or a fidgeting mind, with a focused mind, one who is able to stay with me, stay with the self, being able to be with the witness, to be able to focus on your own self. Even though you are engaged in all the activities, having a gentle attention in what is happening right here on the witness. Vivikta desha sevitam. Vivikta desha sevitam means maintaining some discipline, some seclusion every now and then, where you completely keep yourself away. So that's what we do when we meditate. That's what we do. For the few minutes, you just keep the world away. Vivikta desha sevitam. Aratihi jana samsadi. Not craving for the company of people, not craving for get-togethers and parties and meeting ups and all these things. Adhyatma gnana nityatvam. Constantly wanting to be in knowledge of the self. Tattva gnanartha darshanam. And focusing on understanding the ultimate knowledge, realizing the self. Tattva gnana means realizing the truth in its essence, being focused on that. Yetat gnanam iti proktam. Only these things can be considered as knowledge, and this is where you should be focusing on. Everything else is ignorance. And now he says, that which is to be known, that is called Brahman. Anadim matparam brahmana na sat na asat uchyate. I will tell you now about this Brahman and its qualities, which is a combination of the manifest and the unmanifest. Sat and asat, both are part of it.
सर्वतः पाणिपादं तत् सर्वतोक्षिशिरोमुखं सर्वतः श्रुतिमल्लोके सर्वमामृत्य तिष्ठति.
That which we call as Brahman is all pervasive. Sarvam avritya tishtati. It pervades everything. Sarvatah panipadam means it has hands everywhere, eyes everywhere, feet everywhere, face everywhere. It can hear everything, it can express everything. In short, it encompasses everything. Now, one of the ways you can understand this a little bit more easily is just focus on the space all around you. You can equate the divinity which Krishna is speaking to the space around you and see all this applies to it. Yeah, it pervades everything. Everything has come out of it. Everything will disappear into it. So this space is like this, which is unmanifest but which pervades still everything.
Sarvendriya gunabhasam sarvendriya vivarjitam asaktam sarvabhrachaiva nirgunam gunabhoktracha.
So here, this is one of the ways the Upanishads use. Sometimes they use the paradoxical sentences. Sarvendriya gunabhasam. It perceives all the sensory information, but it has got no sense organs. Asaktam sarvabhrit. It is not interested in the world, but it sustains the world. Nirgunam gunabhoktracha. It has got no attributes or gunas, but all the gunas are sustained in it.
बहिरन्तश्च भूतानाम् अचरं चरमेव च सूक्ष्मत्वात् तदविज्ञेयं दूरस्थं चान्तिके च तत्.
Bahihi antascha bhutanam acharam charam. It is outside everything, it is inside everything also. It is there in the mobile creation, it is also there in the immobile static creation as well. Sukshmatvat tat avignayam, it's very subtle and it cannot be understood by the intellect or expressed through language. Durastam chantike chatat. It is farther than the farthest but closer than the closest. For somebody who is invested in the material aspect of existence, divine is farther than the farthest. But somebody who is invested in the spiritual aspect, the spirit of existence, then it is the closest. It is closer than your breath, closer than this very body.
अविभक्तं च भूतेषु विभक्तमिव च स्थितं भूतभर्तृ च तज्ज्ञेयं ग्रहिष्णु प्रभविष्णु च.
Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktim iva cha sthitam. It is indivisible but appears as if divided in all the beings. It's like the one sun which appears in all these pots of water. You can't break that sun, but it appears as if there are many suns in that pot. That is an appearance of the Brahman. Bhuta bhartru cha tat gneyam grasishnu prabhavishnu cha. It is the creator, it is the sustainer, it is the destroyer. What it means is the entire material existence has got no independent entity. It's not an independent entity. It is totally dependent on this Brahman for its existence. Everything arises in the Brahman, stays in the Brahman, and disappears in the Brahman. So that aspect of arising, staying, and disappearing, you call it as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, the creator, the sustainer, and the destroyer. These are just changes within this very Brahman itself.
ज्योतिषामपि तज्ज्योतिः तमसः परमुच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्य विष्ठितम्.
It is the most luminous aspect of existence. It's brighter than the brightest star. And it is something which the tamas cannot touch. Gnanam neyam gnanagam. It is knowledge. It is the one which is the source of knowledge, and it is the one which is also the goal of knowledge. All the thing, it is the same pure consciousness. And where does it exist? Hridi sarvasya vishtitam. And it is not nowhere else. It is the very core of your existence. See, right now you are sitting, but the food which you ate is being digested by its own. The heart is beating. The breath is moving in and out. So much activity is happening. Who is doing all this? In the core of your existence, there is an intelligence which is stationed, which is managing all this. And he says, this is what you need to understand. This intelligence of existence is the Brahman, and that is the knowledge. That is what is worth knowing. That is also the goal of knowledge. Your goal should not be anything else, but only to realize the Brahman and to stay in its vicinity. Or even, again, knowledge fails you. Stay in its vicinity is again a difficult thing to say. It is everything. There is nothing to stay in its vicinity. How you can't go far away from it. But at least experience the proximity of it.
इति क्षेत्रं तथा ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं चोक्तं समासतः मद्भक्तये तद्विज्ञाय मद्भावायोपपद्यते.
So Krishna says, now I have told you what is scenery, what is seer, what is knowledge, what is worth knowing. If you have understood me correctly, only then you will be able to attain to me. Only by knowing these differences between the scenery and the seer, and what is true knowledge and what is the one which is the only one which is worth knowing, you will progress and move towards me. And then he starts speaking about Prakriti and Purusha. And he says, all that is matter is Prakriti, that which is space, the spirit, is Purusha. Prakritim Purusham Cheva Vidya Anadi Ubhavapi Vikaranscha Gunanscha Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. In the Brahman, how did Prakriti appear? How did this appearance of creation happen? And the Upanishads have an explanation. They call this Maya. Maya is a tool of the Brahman. And through that instrument, an appearance is created. Just like a prism in an instrument which makes the white light appear as 7 colors, Maya is an instrument through which Prakriti appears within Brahman. So the creation is a manifestation of what is called as Maya. Maya is the Shakti of the Brahman. But at an individual level, if you get stuck within the Maya, then it becomes a bondage. When you are in wisdom, you realize that everything here you see is an appearance, then you are not bound by Maya. But when you don't have that awareness or knowledge and you consider what is in the realm of Maya itself as real, then the same Maya overpowers you and becomes a bondage. Vikaransha gunanscha vidhi prakriti sambhavan. All the Prakriti, all the nature, the matter, material existence is just a play of the elements and the gunas. It's because of the elements and the gunas, the vikaras of these gunas is what makes you get an appearance of Prakriti, of existence, of the material creation. Karya karana kartrutve hetuhu prakritihi. So it gives another definition. That which triggers action, the field in which actions happen and the impressions are generated, which generate further actions, the cause and the effect. The realm of the cause and effect is Prakriti. Purusha sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve hetu ruchyate. But where does this field become active? When does it field become active? The Purusha, the Jiva within it, the Jivatma, the individual soul, when it develops a desire in it to play in the world, sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutva, to enjoy or suffer in the world, when that intention arises, then the manifestation becomes real. So the matter is the realm of cause and effect. The spirit is one which drives it through its desire to enjoy the world. Upadrashta anumanto cha bharta bhokta maheshwaraha paramatmeti cha apiyukto dehe asmin purushah paraha. Upadrashta means the witness. Anumanta is one through whose instructions everything is happening. The controller, the moderator. Bharta bhokta maheshwaraha. The one who gives, the one who enjoys, the great Ishvara Maheshwara. Paramatmeti cha apyukto dehe asmin purusha paraha. And this Purusha exists in this very body as a reflection of the Paramatma. The individual soul, the Jivatma, exists in this very body as the reflection of that Paramatma, who is a witness, who is the permitter of things, who is the controller and is also the enjoyer of everything. Ya evam vetti purusham prakritim cha gunaihi saha sarvata vartamanopi na sa bhuyo abhijayate. And one who realizes, one who has clearly understood this distinction between Prakriti and the Purusha, and knowing that all the Prakriti is run by the gunas under the direction of the Purusha, he will not be born again. Which means what? He will not be stuck in the matter. When anything happens, you attribute it to the gunas and the doshas and not to the individual as such. When you see the individual, you see the divinity in him. When you see the imperfections, You see the action of the gunas in there. So when that happens, even with your own self, you don't blame yourself or you don't blame others. Then you have risen above matter. The matter does not bind you or does not influence you. And how does one realize this? How do you get to this knowledge as an experience? How do you attain to this knowledge? He says, some attain it through meditation, some attain it through contemplation or reflection or inquiry, some through knowledge, some through yoga, and some through action. So we notice this all around us, even those people in the path, they all have different types of interests. You can see it even among our teachers. Some of them like action. They're so skilled in their action, they can generate things through their action. And some of them are so devoted. Through devotion, they can, through just their intention, they can manifest things. Some are so strong in knowledge, and to the help of knowledge, they realize they are able to separate themselves from that which is binding them, and they become free. And some of them experience the depth of their existence through yoga, through pranayama, through other practices. And some through charity, they see the divinity in everybody. By serving people, they see that they are serving the divine himself. So people can attain this through different ways, can realize and understand me in different ways. All of them are okay. And those who don't have access, direct access to this knowledge, they can hear through somebody, and even if they follow those instructions, they can also attain to me.
Yavat sanjayate kinchit sattvam sthavara jangamam kshetra kshetrajna samyogat tadvidhi bharatarshbha.
Anything that you see or anything that is part of the existence, no Arjuna, it is a combination of the manifest and the unmanifest. Even within the manifest, there is a part of it which is unmanifest. Yeah. So today when we meditated, we saw that. In your mind, the movement of thoughts is manifest. The space between the thoughts is unmanifest. Within your body, the hollow and empty space is unmanifest. But that which is solid structure is manifest. All around you, the objects are manifest, the space is unmanifest. So everything in existence is a combination of manifest and unmanifest. There is a doer in you, there is a witnesser in you at the same time. Manifest and unmanifest.
Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishthantam parameshwaram vinashyatsva vinashyantam yah pashyati sa pashyati.
The same divinity exists in all creation. And one who sees the imperishable divine in the perishable body, he is the one who has really understood me. Take this example of the sun and its reflection. The pot can break, the water can evaporate, but the sun, nothing happens to the sun. Only because of the water and the pot, it appears as if it is there. So in the perishable, in the finite, in the material aspect also, I shine through.
Prakratyaiva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashah yah pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sa pashyati.
All actions happen through the gunas. Full stop. He says, Prakrityaiva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashah ya pashyanti tatatmanam akartaram sa pashyati. No actions happen through the self. They happen in the body and the mind through the influence of the gunas. So the self is not attached to those actions and is no way is the doer, is just the witness.
Yada bhuta prithak bhavam ekasthamanu pashyati tata eva cha vistaram Brahma Sampadyate Sada.
So when you see different aspects of existence, when you see different people, their different behaviors, different aspects of plants, animals, everything else, and then see divinity peeping through all those things and see that, look, all this is just divinity expressing in different forms. All this is just the same light passing through a prism and appearing as different colors. Only that person who can attribute everything in existence to that one source, he has one who has realized, who has understood me, and he is the only one who will Brahma Sampadyate Tada. Only he can attain to me.
Anaditvan nirgunatvat paramatmayamavyayah sharirasthopi kaunteya nakaroti na lipyate.
This divine is Anaditvat Nirgunatvat, is beginningless, is beyond attributes. Paramatma Avyayaha is imperishable. Sharirasto api na karoti na lipyate. Even though residing in this very body, which is the seat of all actions, that self does not do anything, nor is it attached to the any actions. None of the actions or the events touch it, nor it is engaged in any action. How?
Yatha sarvagatam saukshmyat akasham nopalipyate.
Just like the entire existence, the nature is encircled by the sky, but the sky neither engages in the actions or dynamism of the nature, nor it is attached to the happenings within that. There may be earthquakes, there may be floods, there may be war, there could be explosions, but nothing touches the sky, nor does the sky engage in any of those actions. Similarly, though everything is sustained or is enclosed in the spirit, in the self, whatever is happening in the body, in the prakriti, is just a product of the gunas at that time, and these actions or their consequences do not touch me or the spirit or the self.
सर्वत्रावस्थितो देहे तथात्मानोपलिप्यते.
Very similarly, even though the self, the intelligence pervades every part of the body, it is not attached to any, it is not tainted by anything from the body. See, this quality of untaintedness is called Niranjana. Niranjana means that which cannot be stained or tainted by anything that is happening in the body and the mind.
यथा प्रकाशयत्येकः कृत्स्नं लोकमिमं रविः क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तथा कृत्स्नं प्रकाशयति भारत.
Just like one sun illuminates all the objects on this planet, similarly, that one self, it illuminates every aspect, that one intelligence controls every aspect of this very body. At an individual level and at a universal level, the whole existence is controlled or is managed by this one Kshetri or Kshetrajna or the seer. There is only one witness, one seer, which looks at everything, which everything is happening. But all it pervades all the nature, all the matter is pervaded by it, but still it is the only one through which everything is happening. Kshetra and Kshetri, which is Prakriti and Purusha.
क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञयोरेवम् अन्तरज्ञानचक्षुषा भूतप्रकृतिमोक्षं च ये विदुर्यान्ति ते परम्.
Kshetra Kshetrajnayor evam antaram. This difference between the scenery and the seer, Prakriti and the Purusha, one who realizes it through inquiry and knowledge, Gnana Chakshusha, to the eyes of wisdom, one who perceives this, Bhut Prakriti Moksham, he becomes free from matter. Chaye Viduryanti Te Param, and then they transcend the mind, they go across the mind. See, all this can be very expressed in very simple terms. You take mind and body as the matter and the spirit as the Brahman in you. Just through meditation you can transcend them, and the moment you transcend the mind you are in touch with the self, with the spirit. But for that, what do you need to know? You need to know this clear distinction between the scenery and the seer. The body and the mind are the scenery. I am the seer. And this seer is like the sky, which though without which the body and the mind cease to exist, but is not engaged in the activities of the body and the mind, nor it is tainted by the consequences of the action of the body and the mind. So what should I do? Every time you get distracted, disturbed, swayed in the world, come back to the self. When Gurudev says repose in the self, repose in the self, what does it mean? It is just come back, withdraw a bit, separate yourself from the body and the mind and see what is happening. It is all a product of the gunas. And with your intelligence, you can handle the gunas. All our practices are to increase the sattva guna, which take you closer to the spirit. All the worldly activities are filled with rajoguna. And all the over activities, indulgences are tamoguna. If you can stop indulgence in the world, if you can moderate your activities and desires in the world, and if you can focus on your practices, then you remain closer to me, closer to the spirit. So neither attribute your actions or somebody else's actions to the individuals, but just see that as a play of the gunas. Then the mind which is restless and agitated, which going through storm of emotions, the craving, aversions, disappointment, expectations, all that will come down. All expectations are because you think somebody is in control of something and they are not fulfilling them. But when you see that nobody is in control of anything, all that is happening in the body and the mind is just a product of the gunas, and the gunas are in turn product of the karmas. And all this just keeps rotating at the level of the body and the mind itself. It does not come beyond it. When people go to astrology, when people go to temples, when people go to do, all that you are trying to do is nullify the impact of what is happening to your body and the mind. But you can do the same thing through meditation even more effectively. When you are established in meditation, these things don't impact you at all. I mean, in fact, it does not matter, it does not happen to you. You may still go through what is happening to anybody else who is going through difficult planetary expositions, but it just doesn't bother you, upset you that much. You will just play with it, you will just move around with it. Like, you go on a run, you're on a marathon, you go to the gym and exercise, it hurts. But then what you do? You say, it hurts. I'm exercising, it hurts. I've got a body and the mind, I'm going to go through misery. That's okay. As long as I identify with this, as long as I hold on to it, this will be there. It doesn't matter. Pleasure or pain, it comes and goes. See, freedom is this state where you don't feel the necessity to fix anything in life. That does not mean you ignore life. You are only trying to make something which is perfect, a little bit more perfect, that's all. You are not seeing something as imperfect and wanting to make it perfect. You are saying, whatever is happening is absolutely fine. Let me see if I can make it any better. And if it doesn't happen, it does not matter. Anyway, it was perfect to begin with. You know what? It was not affecting me. It was not imperfect. I was not trying to make the imperfect perfect. It was perfect anyway. So I'm happy with it. But if I can make a change to it and make it better, that's fine. If not, so what? That is the state of freedom. And that comes from realizing that what? There is nothing to be fixed. Everything is a passing phase in life and everything is influenced by the gunas. Hmm? Gnana chakshusha, through the eyes of wisdom, know how to separate the scenery from the seer, the kshetra from the kshetrajna, and then you will become free and transcend the mind and come over to me. Yanti te param, they go beyond. In the four pillars, they talk about the Shat Sampattis, in which you got what Shama, Dama, Titiksha, Uparati. When those are strong, nothing can shake you. You might feel a little uncomfortable every now and then, but then you see, so what? It doesn't last. The problem is, we hold on to the discomfort and we ignore all the comfort we have got in life. That is the problem. And the mind sticks on to it and so, oh, this is not right, this is not. There are so many things which are right, but you just don't focus on them at all. And then you hold on to that to 10% or 5% which is not so right, and then try beating it. I want to fix this, I want to fix this, I want to fix this. Think about it. Yeah? We have think about just about the expectations you have from people. You are not doing this, you are not studying, you are not getting there. Suddenly, if they find out that your child or your spouse or somebody, has got an illness which is difficult to cure, all those expectations drop off. Those things become secondary. Then you say, oh, you be healthy, that is okay. When everything is going right, you want so many things. When things start falling apart, then your expectations also start coming down in life. Do you see this? So just see that this is how the mind plays on. Mind always tries to find joy in something which it doesn't have, and even when you have everything, it tries to pick some one little thing which you don't have and tries to run behind it. And it's all just a play of the mind. How do I weaken the mind? I just minimize the rajas and tamas guna in me, and then I nourish the sattva guna. And in the sattva guna, the light of sattva, the mind is impotent. And then I move through the tendencies of the mind. Very good, very good. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkhabhat bhavet. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.